I'm back, guys. I'm back. Okay, so we are going to explore this thought that God's grace transforms the way that we love our neighbors. But to do that, I want to interact with you. I'm going to ask some questions. I might ask some of you to come up here. So I need to ask a favor of you. From what I've gathered, and I love this so much, you are fun and wild. Just using your head, would you agree? Not your words, not your words, yes. And I love that. It's my favorite thing about you already. I've been told that you're the favorite group, they love you. And so here's what I want to ask. We're going to have so much fun tonight. And there's going to be moments where I'm going to allow you an opportunity to move or make noises. But then there's going to be moments where I need you to respect me and let me speak. Can we do that? I feel like you guys are mature enough. Can we do that? I can ask you a question and you can say, yes, ma'am. Okay, so we're going to practice. We're going to practice. Did you like my mom eyes? I live with 5 kids and only one of them pays rent. It's a whole thing. So listen. So I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to respond, yes, ma'am, because I'm from Oklahoma and we say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am there. So can you respect me tonight? Okay, because the reason why you should respect me is I have so much respect for you. I spent time praying for you, preparing for you. And I'm so excited to spend this time with you. So this will go a lot smoother if we can respect. So I just want to get that out of the way, and I'm just so grateful for you. So here's the deal. Every time I hear this parable or this idea of loving your neighbor, I have to sort of stop myself because the first thing that pops into my brain, and I think it might pop into yours as well, is my house and the people that live next to me. And maybe you're thinking, well, Mel, I actually live down a long dirt road and I don't have neighbors. Or maybe you say, I live in an apartment and I have so many neighbors. It's where our brain goes, but what we learn in this parable is that Jesus is stopping that small thought and he's sort of exploding it. And he's saying it's not about your location. And we're going to explore that tonight because Jesus presents this idea that your neighbor is somebody that you simply come alongside. That you're walking next to, that you're getting to know, that you're spending time with, that you're helping. So what I thought is maybe tonight we could become neighbors. What do you think? Yes, ma'am? Okay, so one of the ways I think that you can, join somebody is that you find commonalities. So I thought I could use this as an opportunity to get to know you. You could get to know me. So here's some important things to know about me. I really love Chick-fil-A. Anybody? Yeah. I was hoping you guys had that here, but it's the Lord's restaurant, so I knew you would. Okay, so if you are not just a Chick-fil-A lover, but you love Chick-fil-A breakfast, could you raise your hand? And you're not afraid? Can you in the cool little hat, can you come up here? Are you too afraid for that? You got that? Do you want to come up here? Okay, well, come on. Okay, I love Chick-fil-A as she's coming up. I'm a chicken mini girl. What's your name? Maroon. What's your favorite?
I think I dropped some.
What'd you drop? You can get it later. This is more important. What's your favorite meal at Chick-fil-A?
Don't have one.
You just eat it all? Okay. You like chicken at Chick-fil-A? They have a lot of that there. So, okay. So, do you like the waffle fries? Do you eat at Chick-fil-A?
I do.
Okay. You know what else I like?
What?
And you guys need to know. Here's some things you need to know. And I need you to raise your hand if you like this too. I love Sour Patch Kids. Oh. Give me Sour Patch Kids. Who in here says, I love Sour Patch Kids, and I love the blue ones? Right there. Dude, come up here. Yeah. Yes, you, hat. Do you like Sour Patch Kids?
Yeah.
What color?
The sourest one.
The sourest ones. You're my favorite answerer of all answerers I've ever experienced. What's your name, sir?
Hiker.
Hiker? Riker?
Hiker.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of noise up here, right? It's loud.
Yes.
You come sit over here. What's your favorite Chick-fil-A? No, you come over here.
Sorry.
Not Chick-fil-A. You're Chick-fil-A. You're Sour Patch. What's your favorite Sour Patch color?
Red.
Red. Okay. Okay, stand right there. This is going to be important. Stand there. I feel like everything about me is having to do with food right now. Come on, Mel. Oh, I got something that has more value. I like to read. Does anybody here like to read? Oh. Don't lie. Don't lie. Who are you pointing to? Whoever you are pointing to, I want that person. Yeah. She had a very serious, like, this is the person you want. Do you guys like to read?
Huh?
You like to read? Yeah, you can be honest. That's cool. He said no. He said, do you know how to, though? Okay, yeah. Hi, what's your name?
Eden.
Eden, do you want to share your favorite book, or is that too personal? You don't have to say the Bible. You can be honest.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, and then the Bible? Okay, right here. What else? Okay, so I got food, snacks, reading. Oh, here's a fun one. You need to know this about me. I work for a nonprofit that serves single moms. I was a single mom for 9 years myself, but before that, I was a youth pastor for 16 years. Hoo-wee. Hoo-wee. Are there any youth pastors in the room? Maybe? Do you want to, are you recording? You want to come up here? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I already got one. What's your name? Ethan.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's your least favorite student? I'm just kidding. You say, is this your group?
This is all of my group.
You got a good group.
Yeah.
You like them?
They're okay.
They look like they're okay. That's cool. Okay, cool. Okay, so we got food, snacks, knowledge, career. I know. In a few days, it's my birthday, and I know you're gonna be shocked at this, but I'm turning 40. Hey, sheesh. Okay, is there anyone in here that you're in your 40s? You're just like, don't lie. Are you in your 40s? Come on down. Yeah, come on, you. Yeah, are you 40? Okay. Are you in your 40s, Ethan?
Am I what?
How old are you?
I'm 32.
32, okay. Are you saying Paula? Paula? Paula! Hi! Guess what? My mom's name is Paula.
Oh, well, be easy to remember.
Are you 40 what?
44.
You don't want to. 44! How's 40? I need to know. It's okay?
No, I'm really 24.
You're 24. You look 24. I know, I thought you were lying. I'm like, girl. Okay, so I need all of you to line right here. Paula as well, even though you're the elder. I just want to thank all of you for volunteering for Mel's Bible Theater. Who, what? You guys they're going to help me. Now listen, listen. They are going to, I'm a visual learner. You guys, yeah? And so when I see things, I remember it, and I really want you to remember this parable. So I thought reading it, yeah, all the things. So I think you guys look like you're great at acting. So what we're going to do is you, sir, no, I'm going to start with you. You just so happen to be the person in this story that gets robbed. Are you okay with that? Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah. So all you're going to do, hold on, I'm the drama teacher here. A lot of experience in this. Is when it comes to time, you're getting beat up and you kind of fall on the floor. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay. You are my Sour Patch Kid. Guess what? You get to be good and bad. So at first, you're going to be the robber. And then after you rob, then you're going to come back to your spot, because then you're going to be the Good Samaritan. Plot twist. It's not the robber. I just want to clarify, the robber in this story is not the same person. I just thought it would be fun because he's a Sour Patch Kid.
Exactly.
They're naughty and nice. Okay. You, Eden, are my narrator. So I'm going to have you grab that Bible and that microphone. Did you guys see he's up here? That's your son?
No, that's not my son.
Oh, that's your son. Paula's son. Your mom's name is Paula too. Shocker, you're the priest in this story. We're going to be a little disappointed in you. You know better, but it happens. Even pastors are not perfect.
That's so true.
Don't say yes. Paula, you, in this story, there are some people in this story that she's going to read about that are known to be, they've been following the Lord for a long time. They're very wise. And from what I understand, maybe I'll come back next year and you'll be like, this is true, that 40-year-olds are very wise. Okay.
Yes.
So Eden, you're going to come over here. You're a narrator. I have this marked for you. Do you have a nice narrator voice? Say, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome
to Mel's
Bible Theater.
Bible Theater.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
You're going to start reading here. Now, when you do, and you're going to stop there, here in the red. Shh. It's quiet in the theater. Every time you get to the end, give them a little break. You know, they're acting this out, so don't read too fast. Yes. Yes, pause at the end of the sentence, especially at the end of the verse. You got it? Are we ready? You guys are kind of like back. You're over here. You're the robber. You are walking from some city to another city. She's going to tell you about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're paying attention. Scene.
A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers.
Don't actually touch her. Just air attack. Okay. Fall to the ground. Okay. Oh, yes. Yes, you're doing great. Yes, you're killing it. Okay. Yeah.
They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead.
Air beating her. Yes. Okay. Keep going. Keep going.
A priest happened to be going down the same road,
Now you leave.
and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side.
Say, Ethan. Okay.
So too, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him.
Yeah, you can keep going.
He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him.
Scene? Yeah. In scene. Thank you. Thanks, Eden. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Guys, give it up for our actors and actresses. No, get out here. You're taking my time. Get out of here. Okay. Shh, listen. Listen. So fun. I wanted you to see that because, listen. Thanks, guys. You're so great. Listen. Now it's my time. Listen, this is important. The interesting thing about this story is that Jesus tells this story after he's asked a question. And the question is, who is my neighbor? And then he tells that story that you just saw play out. And then, after he tells this story, he asks a question. I don't know if your parents ever do that, your guardians, you ask a question and then they ask you a question in return. It's my favorite thing to do. This is the question that Jesus asks after he tells the story. This is in verse 36. It says, which of these three do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robber? Which of these three? It was the Sour Patch Kid, right? Which of these three? And then, listen. Then the lawyer says, the expert of the law replied, the one who had mercy on him. The one who had mercy on him. And we're going to come back to that verse because it ends with this statement from Jesus that is really important. But he says, the one who has mercy on him. And if you notice, Jesus didn't ask, who is your neighbor? He said, who was a neighbor? What Jesus is doing is he's saying, this is not about location. This is about action. It's about anybody and everybody who needs mercy. So, what I want to ask you tonight is who in your life needs mercy? And the honest answer is everybody. At some point, your best friend or your worst enemy, they're going to need mercy. Your favorite teacher or your least favorite teacher, that person you live with, that person on your team, on your street, that person that's at your favorite Chick-fil-A, whoever it is, at some point, they are going to need mercy. And that means that you have an opportunity to show them that mercy. That you have an opportunity to be a neighbor to them. So as Christians, we have to stop asking who is my neighbor, and we need to start asking who needs a neighbor. And the answer is everybody. You see, in this story, we're the man laying on the ground, and Jesus is the Good Samaritan. And he comes along and he stops and he picks us up, and we experience that. We subscribe to that. We say we are all in on that. And then we have this opportunity and we have this obligation, even if you're in middle school, to then go show people that Jesus is the type of Savior that would stop for you. And if he would stop for you, he would stop for them. And if he would stop for them, then so should we. You see, if people need grace and mercy, then we have to own that to be able to give it away. And the way that you get grace and mercy is that you subscribe to Jesus, which we're going to continue talking about tonight. So you can't give something away that you don't have. So have you subscribed to a Savior that freely gives away grace and freely gives away mercy? And then once you have subscribed, then you own that, and now you get to give that away. That's what this parable is about. It's about Jesus saying that you love me and you love people, and that those go hand in hand. You can't love him without loving people, and loving people without him, it's all pointless. So they need grace and mercy. Is that something that you have to give away? Because God's grace transforms the way that we love our neighbors. And who is our neighbor? Who did we just learn? Everybody. That's a big deal. See, there's a lot on the line here, friends. A few years ago, I had moved into a new neighborhood. And before I moved in, I honestly prayed. I was like, God, can you give us like really awesome Christians that live in this neighborhood? But can you also give us people who don't know who you are, that maybe we could be an example? That was my prayer. And I move in and I see all these cars on the Sunday evening. And when some of them were leaving, I went over and I had met my neighbor and I said, hey, what are you guys doing? You watching football? And she said, no, we actually, every Sunday night, we have a Bible study and worship, and it's really awesome. And I was like, I'm so proud of my neighbors because they were younger. They're like just out of college. I'm like, this is so cool. And so many people showed up. And I thought it was awesome until the next Sunday when I realized that those really awesome Christians were really bad at parking. And one of them would pull up on the curb on my grass that I had worked really, really hard to like look nice. And I thought, oh, gosh, like they're horrible at parking. And then the next Sunday, I went to leave to return a rental car. And not only had they parked up in my grass, one of them had parked at the bottom of my driveway this way when my driveway goes this way. Listen, you don't even have your driver's license and you know that's something wrong with that, right? They just parked right at the bottom. And I was like, oh my goodness, I only have 8 minutes. I got to get this back. I waited until the last minute. But if you wait until the last minute, it only takes a minute. So I go next door. It's a bad motto. Erase that. I go next door and I just quietly like knock because I know what they're doing is important. And they don't answer. And so I ring the doorbell and she pulls the door open and she says, can I help you? And I'm like, well, can I speak to you for a minute? And she's like, we're busy. And I said, no, like I need my driveway. There's a red car parked. And she said, we're in the middle of worship. And she shut the door. She shut the door in my face. And I'm just gonna say, she's lucky that I had been reading my Bible that day. And I walked away for a moment because I didn't really want confrontation, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I don't want to pay $9 million for being late. So I rang the doorbell again, and she opened it, and she said, are you kidding me? And what I wanted to say was, hey, that good father you're singing about, he wants you to move your car. But I said, if you'll just give me the keys, I'll move it, I've really got to go. And she said, oh my goodness, and she slams the door again, and this girl walks out, and if you don't know this, and you probably all know this, when girls are being sassy, this is the universal sign for that. And so she came out and flipped her hair, which I know what that meant, right? And she gets in her car and she moves it. I get the rental car back in time. Everything was fine. And I come back and I pull into the street and I see this U-Haul parked right in the middle of the street in front of my driveway. And my first thought was, the Lord answered my prayers really quick. They're already moving. And so I I honk a little, and this lady gets out, and she is stomping towards me. I'm thinking, I'm going to die. I didn't mean to honk at you. The whole ground is boom, boom. And I roll my window down a little bit, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I just needed to. And she goes, do you know whose car that is? And I lean over, and they had pulled in front of a driveway that was next to my house. This lady was moving into it, and she couldn't get her U-Haul in the driveway. And she said, do you know whose car that is? And I said, yes, I do. It's theirs. You're going to want to knock super loud because they're not going to be able to hear, ring the doorbell at the same time, just bam, bam, bam. They won't mind. So she boom, 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 and she does it. She's bing, bing. I can't even do it at the same time. She's hitting the door and ringing the doorbell, and I hear them. I pull around, kind of get in my driveway, and I think I should check the bricks on the outside of my house for a moment, right? Just checking to make sure they were all still there, and I can hear them back and forth, and then I hear the door slam, and I just kind of turn around, and I see this lady, and she still has that stomp, and she stomps to the end of the sidewalk. And she closes her eyes. Guys, I will never forget this. I kind of feel some emotions about this because this was a big day for me. She closes her eyes and she yells at the top of her lungs, I can't stand Christians. And I wasn't even offended in that moment. I thought, me too, But then I was so mad because that was my neighbor. That was my neighborhood. And I had prayed for the Christians, and I had prayed for the Lord to send me somebody that didn't know him. And do you see what they did? They thought singing about Jesus was more important than showing people who he was. They thought that reaching their hands up was more important than reaching them out to help their neighbor. They thought that reading about the Good Samaritan was more important than being a Good Samaritan. And I was so angry. And I was angry because I wanted to get to know her, but I felt like she already was going to have this opinion of me if she knew what I did for a living or what I believed. And they just made it worse. And I was so frustrated. And I tell you that story not to razz on them, but to remind you that there's so much on the line. Do you see it? Do you see that every opportunity you have with someone, whether you know them or like them or understand them or agree with them, is an opportunity to show them who Jesus is or show them who he isn't? And if you subscribe to this grace-giving, mercy-giving, forgiving Jesus, then you have opportunities to show everybody that he is a Savior that stops, that he's a good neighbor, that he's a good Samaritan, and that he is better than whatever it is that they think is the best. And God's grace is what transforms the way that you love them. It's not about the songs or the camps, it's his grace. And that's why it is imperative for you to focus tonight as we continue in worship. And we're going to ask you to stay in your seats tonight. Just for this moment, we're going to ask you to stay in your seats during worship. And we want you to consider some things. Have you subscribed? And who is your neighbor? And you can stand or you can sit, you can raise your hands. You don't have to, but we want you to stay in your seats. Because the way that this verse ends, real quick in 37, after the expert of the law asks that question, and then he says, it's the one who had mercy on him, Jesus says this. He said, go and do likewise. Basically, Jesus was saying, go do the same thing. Go show mercy. So friends, if God's grace transforms the way you love your neighbors are in this room tonight. So go and do likewise. But you will not be able to do that if you have not subscribed to the grace and mercy of Jesus Christ.